So, hi everyone. We are back, Women in Wisdom, with our podcast. And today we are bringing up a very interesting topic and the topic of passion and also the thinking and doing gap. And we are women from different parts of the world. We are coaches, we are creators, and we are also very good friends. And we are here to inspire you and to help you navigate life with more joy and ease. And yeah, and let's get let's jump into this topic of passion. So um, for me, especially after some nice holidays, like I just had two weeks of holidays together with my family, and now it's back to work again. So there is a moment when that passion sort of I put my energy and attention into igniting that passion for my work. And I noticed that sometimes there are periods in and days in my life when, as a woman who has complete freedom and complete freedom of choice, I feel like actually my choice in the moment maybe it would be just to read a book by the beach somewhere, and not necessarily focusing on the work. So how do you ladies navigate this place of inspiration and excitement about your business, about your work, and how do you get out of those moments when you don't feel, maybe, sometimes we don't feel like doing anything, don't feel the passion for what we're doing. How do you navigate these days and these situations?
Camilla has a lot going on in her head.
Yeah, yeah, because we were talking about it right before recording. I'm struggling with that, I love teaching. I love teaching, and I know that I have quite unique knowledge. I teach people how to negotiate, how to build the relationships, business relationships, and how to manage all this. It's not easy, right? And you have to have some abilities to push some people, but to forgive them, to love them, to to be aligned with yourself, with them, with the business, and it's not an easy dance. But I know how to do that. I do that for many, many years. I just love it, and I even more love to talk about it. But when it comes to sales, to do that, to do all this administration stuff, it's one thing, but also to do all the marketing stuff, to do all the communication stuff about it, to do all this works, it starts to be difficult. And it's not an issue that I don't know how to sell. I know how to do that. It's not an issue that I don't know how to communicate, because I know very well what I should communicate and what I should say. It's not an issue that I don't know how to record the videos or write the text. I know this all. Why it doesn't work? That's an issue.
Mm.
It's. I just want to say, Arlette, that it just as I'm listening, Camilla, it just sounds like you know it, but there's no inspiration. Maybe you're lacking the inspiration. Is inspiration and passion the same thing? I don't know.
It's the same. It's in the same thing, right? It's the passion, because all the sales is about sales that I'm teaching, right? And I know how to sell, and I know how to do that. I know how to teach it. Why I'm lacking something to do that by myself and for myself. So this is a good question, and maybe this is true. Inspiration needed.
But
But
also, yeah, like the advertisement and marketing part is often something that gets to be delegated also. I mean, a lot of good specialists don't even do that by themselves. Of course, um yeah, there are moments when we need to multitask and do all those things. But if you look at bigger companies, they have departments for it, who are only busy with that, people who love doing that. So I think it's also like a challenge to be good at everything, to seeing that we actually should be good at everything. Maybe the passion is in the work with the client. Most of the passion is with the teaching, as you said, the working with the client, not necessarily with all those other things. It's also interesting.
This is it. This is also what comes to my mind, that maybe if it doesn't work, I work with passion and I work a lot. I love to do that. Sometimes people are around me are complaining that I work too much, but don't tell anyone. Uh, so I really do love it. And this particular thing doesn't work so well for me. And this is what comes to my mind too, you know, to delegate it. Do we always have to do everything by ourselves? Do we?
No.
Not necessarily.
No, I also have a hard time doing the things that I don't enjoy doing it. And outsourcing makes it easier, but until to find the right person that that speaks your language, it takes time until you train the right person. But once you have that person, honestly, it's such a big help. But not everyone can do that from the beginning. I guess we have to do everything at the beginning so that we get to know our businesses very well, and then after that we will be able to create the kind of assistant or to add the team members that we want in our team. But nobody understands our business the way we do it. But if you look at successful people in the world, they've done all the donkey job themselves. And then after a while, they started hiring in people. But that's what I think. But Arta, coming back to your question, when you said when you love, when you sometimes lose your passion on things that you like doing. So when you asked this question, I was asking myself, when do I lose my passion? And it happened quite a few times. I think that because I love doing what I'm doing, then sometimes I've lost my passion, my inspiration, and I got worried about it. And then reflecting back and evaluating what happened, I think it was during those times when I attached an outcome towards it and a certain expectation. And when I didn't reach that expectation, for example, if I had a webinar, or if I had like an offer or something, and I had a specific outcome in my mind, and it didn't happen. And when it didn't happen, I realized that I'm losing my motivation. So for me, it was during those times that I thought, now that I know this, I prepare myself before events. I always say to myself, when don't attach an outcome. Just, you love what you're doing, let it go, continue doing it. Don't get demotivated when the outcome is not what you've expected. Carry on. And the passion is in the work that you're doing anyway. So that's how I feel.
I love it. I can just add here, like, from myself, because I was asking the same question, and I also feel that when I lose my drive, my fire, my passion, there's also a big chance that I have created some rules around my desire or around my goal that are not serving me, such as what I should be or what I should do to be a successful this or that, And then when I remove those ideas, then the passion is back, because I realize, no, there is my way how to do it. And I know the right decision. I know the right decision to take, even if it's something out of the box completely. So no rules helps me. Yeah.
That's just so valuable, that recognition that you have around what's causing your fire to go out. I think that's really powerful, and I see how that happens. I haven't made that connection in that way before, so I'm really interested to look at it in that way now. Like, is there a rule around that? Yeah, that's pretty cool.
This is something I noticed, because I was like, why I don't feel this drive suddenly like before? And then I looked deeper into the so-called rules, or some kind of things that were going around, and I noticed that the client type that I have been attracting is no more my ideal client, and that's why the passion went down. So I had to redefine the ideal client again, so that I was like, okay, this is now the person I really feel inspired to work with, you know? So these find things like that.
I have like a few different kind of words going on in my head because I'm a lot, basically passion and inspiration are kind of forefront right now because I have a lot of passion for what I do, but I don't always have the inspiration for it. I have the passion to draw and to paint and to do gyrotonic and all of these things, but I'm not always inspired to do it. So I still feel the flame, but I don't always maybe have the space, or maybe the space would be the rules, the space to do that in myself, or in the space I'm in. And then you were talking about the rules around that. There was another word. So your client. So for me, I haven't had a lot of kind of energy to do things that I normally do, and I was realizing, and I was looking into it, and there's cycles of time, and I'm in my 1 year according to the 9-star key profile, which is the Japanese profile of looking at your birth date, and you're in there's 9 cycles. And I'm in my first year, which is a water year. So there's not a lot of energy for a lot of building and growing. It's just really a year of stillness. So when I really understood that again and came upon that, then I was able to embrace that natural cycle I'm going through. It's not like I'm not getting things done. I'm actually accomplishing a lot. But I'm not accomplishing it in the same way that I'm used to. And so the passion is there, but the energy behind the passion is a very different quality than maybe other times of the year, other times of the month, and all of that. So I think there's an interesting, weaving
Yes.
happening on. Yeah,
Oh.
go ahead.
Oh,
Felice, Felice, we are talking about passion
Felice
and
is
why it sometimes happens that we lose it, you know? There's sometimes moments in life when we don't feel the drive, and how do you go about that?
Yeah, passion. I think for me, I lose my passion when I get stuck in my head. So it's like Arlette was saying when I just joined the masterclass. Sorry, I had another meeting before this one. It's like Arlette is saying, when you have expectations, you start to go inside your mind and you start thinking. And when I start thinking too much, I forget about my heart and my feelings. And I'm so focused on the how and why and when and who. Those questions shouldn't be there if you trust your passion, the fire within you. So for me, I don't think we ever lose our passion. It's like it's there, but we choose to focus on something else, and we just have to refocus again. When I refocus again, and there is something that happens that stops me and that gives me a smack in the face, and it goes like, you're not paying attention to the right stuff. So, and then I'm like, oh my God, what am I doing? I'm stuck completely. And then the moment I let go, I feel again, and I connect with my passion again. So yeah, if I'm too stuck in my head, racing thoughts, trying to, figure it out, how it has to be done, and who and where can I do it, or then I lose the passion connection. So yeah.
It's interesting what you're saying, Felice, because you use the word refocus. So
Yeah.
one of the things that I've started lately applying, because I took a decision that if something is not working, it means that there is some sort of a learning. I have some learning to do. So my challenge is to figure out what is that learning. So I refocus by saying, okay, I had this, let's say, event that it didn't work out. I'm talking about purely business now. But I also apply it personally as well. I did this and it didn't work out. It didn't give me the results that I was expecting. So it means that there is something that I need to learn more about it. And I just start asking to the universe, or, being open, and I say, bring me, make me aware of the things that I need to learn more to move forward with what I want to accomplish in a specific task. And then I start becoming more proactive and more productive, because I take a pen and paper and I start evaluating and saying this and this and this I should be doing, or I might enroll in a webinar, or I don't know what will be, but I'm looking for something that for the missing links to add, and that's how I get inspired again.
Refocusing. Yeah.
Refocusing, trying to find what's happening, like the will, and
I also believe that sometimes when you're overloaded, you're suffocating yourself. So just giving yourself some space, lowering the
bar.
The bar, yeah, lowering the bar, giving ourselves some space. And when you are having a challenging moment, it's okay just to have a break and step back and just be an observer.
It sink in.
Yeah, it sometimes happens with me when I am painting, and when I have spent too much time on one artwork, I don't feel it anymore. I lose energy because it's overdone. And when I catch this moment, I discard the whole piece and I take a new blank canvas. And it's not going to be an entirely different piece, because I still have everything that I learned through those 3 days I was working, but the piece will be entirely new. And it will be, so there will be new energy, new fresh charge to it. And the old one, I forget about it. I will paint it, or I'll make something new from it. But this was for me important to realize maybe there's something about starting fresh sometimes, like just starting from a blank page to ignite that energy again.
Do you ever take a piece? This is fascinating to me to listen to. Do you ever take your canvas, and I understand what you mean when the energy, like it's not there anymore. But what if you pushed past that somehow and continued the piece anyway, and see where that led you instead of starting something new? Have you ever done that?
Interesting.
No. Most of the time it will be a new layer of new color, and it happens with a lot of artists that actually what you see is there is 10 other works underneath the painting that you see. There is it's normal because there is a layer and new background, but for me it's a learning curve, so I don't necessarily want to show the learning or to see the learning curve in front of my eyes. Because even when I take a new new canvas, it's an end result of that process. It's not entirely a new thing, It's like this 3 days of creation is still there, but in a new form.
I've never done that with my art. That's why it's fascinating. And I know you're educated in that way, and I just make it. I don't have those rules in my head like you're talking about rules before. So when I sit down with the alcohol inks, which was a new medium for me in the last several years, and I love it because it's so not detailed, and it's as opposed to my pencils, which is very detailed. And even if I'm drawing, I never I never say this isn't what I want. I let the peace take me to where it's going, as opposed to me thinking that I have an intention, and then I see how the intention unfolds, you know, with the piece. And even if it's not looking like I want, I keep working with it until it feels right and I get it to where I want it to go, rather than, you know, wiping it off or starting a new piece. Like I've never done that. It's the way that passion expresses itself.
Yeah.
I see a flame when I visualize passion. For me, I see a flame, like when you lit a candle, the flame, and there is this synergy, you know, it's always moving. So passion to me is like a fire, like burning, something that's burning. It's like the fire moving all the time. So it cannot be, it's impossible for it to be something constant.
I had this thought while you were saying that, Felice, is maybe we stop that flame because we're fearful of its own light or its own heat or how brightly it can burn, and so we can't handle our own light so much. We're not giving ourselves the space to shine fully, and so we have these ways of suppressing our light and our passion and our flame because the heat might be too strong. We think the
For
heat
sure.
is too strong.
Or
Very
maybe
philosophical, but yeah, for sure.
or maybe we're not prepared to go through the hardship, because keeping up your passion alive, it means that there are things that you still have to do to get there. Nothing is like a clear road. And sometimes we give up at that time, at that moment where we see that, oh, this is becoming too much. I'm paying such a big price, financially, spiritually, emotionally, time-wise, maybe kids, maybe other difficulties, you know, pursuing this passion. And sometimes we take a conscious decision and we weigh things and we say that, you know what, at this stage of my life, I'm not going to pursue this, or I'm going to pursue it differently. I guess it's different for each person.
Yes. Yeah.
Of course, we're all unique.
Yes.
Oh, it's really interesting, the conversation we had, and all different perspectives and attention and delegating things and not having expectations and pressure and having the inner freedom. I think inner freedom is a big one for me, at least, to feel free to do what I want. So then I also feel passion to do the things. So ladies, thank you so much for your insights and tips. And please, if you enjoy our podcast, share it with your friends, subscribe, and we will see you again next week. Bye bye, everyone.
Bye.
Ciao.